And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Ron Klinger. Excited to welcome you to the Summer of Insights. This is a lunch and learn edition. So, session one is charting your summer journey, riding the G Wave for strategic growth. I thought the wave was a fun summer theme. Excited to have you along with us today. So, I will be your talking head down here in the corner throughout the day. We've got the chat open, so feel free to throw in comments. Welcome where you're dialing in from. Love to know who's present and accounted for. In addition, we're going to go through this pretty quickly. So I'm going to start my timer at 20 minutes, and we're going to jump straight in and hit the floor running. So first of all, here's the agenda for what we're going to accomplish in the next moment is we are going to dance through 20 minutes of content and engagement. I've got a jumpstart activity. We're going to talk about your summer, the challenge that's present and accounted for. We're talking about taking some smart action. The G-Wave model, that is the epicenter of today's discussion. And then I'm also going to share a strategic planning worksheet when we get to that point in time. And then I've allocated 10 minutes for Q&A if it's needed. That way you can get back to your lunch, get back to what you need to do, to the hustle and the bustle of what is the world that we live in and we work today. So you're here today because you have been a part of the Insights journey. I'm grateful to have your trust, grateful to have you as a part of this process. Insights is and the Insights Discovery Profile is a powerful tool to help you achieve meaningful, purposeful outcomes. And that's what we're here to do today. We're using a tool and a model within Insights that's extremely powerful. But before I get started, I want to be able to jump into a little bit of a jumpstart activity. And I want to just get a minute. Don't think about this too long or too hard, but I want to challenge you to think the jumpstart to getting going here in this summer of journey, this growth opportunity that we have before us today. And then you can do this at any point in time where it's like there's too much going on. I'm not sure what to do or how to do. Stop, collaborate, and listen. A little pop culture that I have to add. But I want you to think about when you really pause and think for a second, take a piece of paper or anywhere, jot down, put it in a message, whatever, what matters most to you right here, right now. Number one has significance over 2, 3, 4, and 5. They all matter to you because we're at a day and an age where we're expected to do all, be all for all. And unfortunately, in that process, we get lost. And so what's your number one priority? What's your number two? What's your number 3, 4, and 5? So we'll just take another moment here too to kind of think about that. You can continue to come back to that list. Would love for you to at least get the top 3, and then you can flush out the bottom of those 4 and 5. The reason this becomes important in my experience is the stress amplifies when we're taking off the things that matter most to us. And when we're stressed, we can't grow. When we're stressed, we don't have the energy to think with a open and growth mindset, and we get fixed and fixated, that fixed mindset as to the barriers that are around us, what we're doing, how we're doing it, why we're not doing it. And heaven forbid that victim mentality can come in of woe is me, right? I don't want to play Eeyore, woe is me, right? But it's that simple thing. We have to define what's important so that we can measure how we're working in that direction so that we can manage our time, our energy, and our efforts. Hopefully by now you've had a chance to fill out that top 5 and really have an opportunity to reflect of, hey, at this particular season, and again, I say season because all seasons have a beginning and an end, and there's a change. So the season that we're going to talk about right now, that we're really going to look into as the summer challenge, right? If you're a part of my email distribution list, you would have gotten the graphic that is on the left of the screen. Begin with the end in mind. It's one of the 7 habits from Dr. Stephen Covey and his 7 habits of highly effective people. So for the purposes of this season and this session, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the end date, the end. Begin with the end in mind is August 31st, the end of summer. That is the meteorological end of summer. There's other dates out there, but that's what we're picking to, and that's what we're sticking to. So in essence, the goal is by the August 31st, what do you want to say you've accomplished or achieved? What have you done? What is it that's significant to you? And what I want to do for purposes of our short session today is I want to really have an opportunity to dive into what's a personal outcome that you want to accomplish related potentially to your top 5, and what might be a professional outcome. Now, if you're like, hey, I really got too personal or too professional, Ron, that really matter, then amen. Use those. Dive into what matters most to you in this summer challenge and this summer season of growth. The key is defining that. So that's what we already started to do with the Jumpstart activity, your top 5 of what matters most to you right here and right now. And with that, we're going to advance forward and really get into what are we talking about doing by the end of August 31st? What do you want to say you've accomplished or achieved? Now, some of you may already be dialed in and be fully aware of SMART goals. And, I find it always unique and interesting when I put a SMART goal plan in front of folks. It literally is like there's two sides to this equation in this coin. You know it, you use it, you've been a part of it, or you don't. And it's crazy because there should be somewhere in the middle where some people may have some familiarity with it. But in my experience, it's either already using it or doing it, or you're not even sure what it is. So for sake of time and energy, I'm going to do a quick review that can either serve as an introduction or that can also serve as a reinforcement to what you already know about creating a SMART goal to help you take action. And that's where we're going to go in today. So we start talking about SMART goals. Like, Ron, if you've never heard about this, Ron, what is this all about? What are you talking about? What are you pushing? First of all, when we start talking about goals, there are limits that people can have great plans, but without the goal, they're just a plan. They don't become a reality. So when we start breaking it down, we start talking about how do we give that goal legs? How do we give that goal purpose? We have to make sure that it's specific. All right, that's the S in the SMART. We have to make sure it's something that can be measured. How far, how along are we? Are we close? Are we not close? Have I had a setback? What progress are we making? What actions are needed to actually make that happen? And this is, to me, this is the moxie that keeps a goal moving forward. Because at the end of the day, the reality is inaction is a form of action. And the goals never get accomplished. Your outcomes, your growth, where you want to go, what you want to do, not going to happen without action. Then the other thing is the actual goal that you're setting, is it realistic? Is it something that motivates you, that inspires you, but yet can still be accomplished? And then you know what the number one reason why goals typically don't get accomplished? If you have an idea, throw that in the chat. I'd love to see if you know what the T stands for, but the number one reason that goals don't get accomplished is no one puts a time parameter or time-bound aspect to the goal. So if it's not specific, it's not measurable, action-oriented, realistic, time-bound, then it's just not going to have the legs to become an accomplished desired outcome. So when we're really talking about it, it's about hitting that bullseye. It's about doing some of the homework that aligns with the direction and the path and the journey that we want to take. And it's very personal. It is absolutely very personal. So we've got specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. That is the formula and the model of a SMART goal. And it's everywhere. There are some different iterations. The letters mean something different, but it's all in the same vein and the same purpose by which to promote results and action. So with that being said, let's give a couple of real quick examples. First example, getting started. Here's just a mini framework to kind of get things started. I will, and then what's the desired outcome by the date? There's the time frame. So we've already got some specificity in the desired outcome. We've got the time bound and the date by, and what's the measure? What is it I'm trying to do? What is it I'm trying to accomplish and achieve? Right? And that's just a mini, very high level for those who've never done this, just to get started. Right? Now, here's, Lord knows I need to try to do this myself. I will lose weight by August 31st, 2026. If you think that that is a SMART goal, give me a yes in the chat. Give me a yes in the chat if you think that that is a SMART goal. Yeah, no one's giving me a yes because that's not a SMART goal, right? So the purpose behind this is to show this is what happens most often is people get going and they're like, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to lose weight and I want to lose it by the end of summer. But that's not a SMART goal. And again, SMART not being intelligent, SMART being specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. A SMART goal, I will lose 15 pounds by August 31st, 2026 by following a consistent nutrition plan. Here's the action. Exercising at least 4 to 5 days. Here's your measure as well as the 15 pounds per week and tracking my progress weekly to ensure steady, healthy weight loss. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a SMART goal. Doesn't have to be complex. And if truth be told, let's peel back the curtain. I put that into AI. So if you want to figure it out and you're like, I don't like writing these things, Ron, well, tell it what you want to do. Give it a debt, give it what you want, the outcome, by when, and give me a SMART goal for this outcome. And you know what? AI can do it for you. AI gets a bad rap. And again, I'm not a big fan, but there are ways just to help you fill in the blank and save you time, especially if there's a goal that's related and you got to get started today. So let me give another example. Here's another example that I like to share. A lot of folks want to do some savings, right? And so weight, savings, time, money, things that people think about, our health, our well-being. Someone wants to save $3,000 by August 31st by setting aside $750 per month or $175 per week, tracking my progress, reducing discretionary spending, and directing any extra income towards this goal to ensure I stay on target. That is very specific. That is a SMART goal. Time, it's got the actions, it's got the measures. Wonderful, right? But oh, wait, there's more. No, this isn't an infomercial, but what it is an absolute setup to the model that I want to introduce to you that is rooted in the Insights color energies. Fiery red, sunshine yellow, earth green, cool blue. As a very, very small mini review, this fiery red's about being competitive, demanding, determined, strong-willed, and purposeful. Sunshine yellow's about being sociable, dynamic, demonstrative, enthusiastic, and persuasive. Earth green's about caring, encouraging, sharing, patient, and relaxed. And again, you've got this from your Insights profile. If you're in this session, you know where your color energy leads. And then cool blue, cautious, precise, deliberate, questioning, and formal. You notice the adjectives to describe the behaviors that are related to the Insights color energies that produced and came from and gave you your Insights discovery profile. With that being said, let's infuse the G wave. You're thinking, okay, Ron, G wave, summer waves, that's how I thought it would work. Great way to start things off thematically. We start talking about the G wave. The G is the actual goal. So that's your SMART goal. But then the power. If you've done the SMART goal, you're about 40% there. Now, you still have to do. But again, no good plan gets done without the proper planning. So what's this G wave? What's this model, Ron? Glad you asked. The G stands for the goal, and then you ask yourself, why is this goal important? And you list as many reasons down as you can come up with as to what that looks like, how that impacts. Why do I want to do this? What's the desire? What's the cost if I don't? Why is this goal important? So remember, if you go back, you got one personal and one professional, or two personal, two professional. The aspect is I want you to play with this. I want you to have an opportunity to see this in real life because it works. Then you ask yourself, okay, what specific actions do I need to take? So the wave, the W, the A, the goal, the G, the Y. Now what steps? What do I need to do? What specifically do I need? Again, action oriented, back to the goal. What are other things I need to make sure that I accomplish to make this goal a reality? Now, if you remember, the Insights Learning and Development is out of UK, so you got visualize here. I brought the American English versus the UK version, the proper King's English. So then you visualize, hey, why is it important? What's it take to do it? Wow. And then what's that going to look like? Less stress. I'm going to like what the scale says, because if weight loss is what like what my bank account looks like, I'm going to like whatever the desired outcome is. Close your eyes and visualize. What does accomplishing or achieving that goal actually look like? What's the outcome? See it. You got to see it so that you can be it. And then the last piece is, here's the hard truth that a lot of things come into play. We can't do anything without engaging the support of others. Now, we can do a lot because we're powerful. It's all about that growth mindset. But are there folks in your circle, or those that you may not know and you may need to develop into your circle and your network, who can engage and support you in this endeavor? If you do take the chance and do the opportunity and write the SMART goal, again, use AI, don't care. But this is the part that is deeply personal. This is the part that is real. This is the part that is all you or your partner or your family or whoever it might be. This is the part that makes the goal become a reality. And so what I've done, and I'm going to throw it in the chat, is going to engage your thinking preferences, right? I'm going to throw this in here. Give me just a second to add the document. I've already got it queued and clued up and ready to go. So in the chat, I am attaching the PDF version. If you'd like the real version of a Word document so that you can type into it, happy to share Happy to give that to you. But what you will notice is in the chat, I just dropped that PDF of the action planning worksheet. And so it works you through the top portion. Your SMART goal, is present, right? So you can articulate it up top. It kind of gives you the G wave to kind of think about that as the model. Why is the goal important to you? What actions do you need to take? I also reinforce that here. This is the working part of the worksheet. You put your goal here. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it action-oriented, realistic, time-bound? Does it meet those? And if it doesn't, work with AI, work with just refining it. And once you've got that goal clearly defined as a SMART goal and articulated, then bullet out why is this goal important to you? What is the purpose behind the goal? What's the why? Your whole intent. What actions need to take place, right? Visualize what it looks like. And then who might you need help for to engage it? So this worksheet gives you the actual methodology and the model at the top. It gives you the ability to assess and address your SMART goal. Does it meet SMART criteria? Specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. Does it actually now you do the planning? You do the heavy lifting. If there's any notes or anything you need to do, great, you've got that. I can send this to you as a Word document. All you need to do, I've got my email that's going to pop up at the end of the session. Send me an email, say, Ron, I'd love a Word document version of the action-oriented planning worksheet, or put it in the chat. And with your email address, I will gladly send that to you because it's powerful. Yes, Nicole's already like, yes, please send it to me. Right? It's a powerful tool. It's one that I've used with managers and leaders in my management leadership training, because a lot of times we can get stuck, especially in organizations, but also personally. We don't know how to bring the goal to life. This is a tool. I'm confident that if you put 40% forward in developing a SMART goal, this is the other 40% of really working the plan. And if you're familiar with the Pareto rule of 80-20, you've done 80% of the work. 20% of it now is just executing it, but you've already got the plan. You've already got it in front of you. This is how you make it become a reality. And trust me when I tell you, you'll want to be doing your happy dance, whatever that looks like, a little Cabbage Patch, a little sprinkler, right? Your little scuba now that's all out there everywhere, whatever it is that might be popular. But by golly, there's nothing better than accomplishing a goal that you've set out to accomplish and achieve, and being able to revel in that as an outcome, as an experience, right? Maybe one of your goals is you want to visit somebody that you haven't visited in a while. This is why this is a deeply important piece. Maybe it's a professional development. You want to get a certificate. Maybe you wanted to start a business, which we can talk about if that's something, because that's not always what it's cracked up to be. You can do it, but you have to understand some parameters. So again, that would come into the engaged support. If you're talking about doing and starting a business, you want to talk to people who've done it. Don't go at it blindly before you make the decision. Interview people. You're looking at a career pivot. Take a career pivot. What's the potential ideal dream job that you want to take, that you want to advance forward? Find somebody in your circle of influence. Reach out to your network on LinkedIn. I'm looking for people that do this because I'd like to know more about the day in the life of. There are so many applications that this action planning worksheet, the G-Wave, and the goals can apply. Forget about the summer of development. Just think it's your personal and life development. Phenomenal opportunity by which to get centered, by getting back to your top 5, by identifying those top 5 that you want to see the most growth, the most development, and the most advancement with, and then apply the SMART goal and the G-Wave methodology. Because I'm confident you do that, you'll be extremely glad you did, because you will reap the benefits of the time because you've made the plan. Now you work the plan, and the results and the outcomes that you aspire to achieve are the output. That's the goal. That's the whole purpose of what I do and everything that I do, trying to help individuals and organizations win and be successful. And this is one of many tools, but this is one of my favorite tools. That's a complement to your insights discovery profile that helps you understand your self-awareness, that helps you understand the best you that you can bring forward and show up and engage in a positive way and make your goals and your dreams become a reality. It's not easy. It's work. That's why work and success is before work in the dictionary. You got to go after it, right? You've got to do the work. You're not going to get the success without putting the time and the energy into it. So with that being said, I'm actually almost right on point with a couple seconds left in the content and the engagement. I wanted to open up to the chat or even into the Q&A to see if there's any questions that you might have at this time. If not, no harm, no foul, but just know that I'd love to open it up and see if there's any questions that I can address or answer for you at this time. We'll give it a second. If you see me looking, I'm looking at the other screen over here. All right, looks like I did such an amazing job because I set up the goal and do this. What age group would you suggest? Oh, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. This can work for anyone. This can work for anyone who says, you know what, I want to do, accomplish, or achieve something. This can be a great conversation to have at the dinner table. This can be a great conversation to have if people do that anymore, which I hope they do. But this can be a great conversation that they can have at any point in time where someone says they want to accomplish or achieve something. It could be something as much as, hey, I'd like to get a new bicycle. And then it gets to, okay, well, what do we got to do to make sure we can save up? What are some of the things that can happen to get that new bicycle, all the way to starting a business, getting a new job, getting a new profession, traveling, savings, weight loss, everything. The most important critical criteria is it dials back to what matters most to you right here, right now, and how do you give that meaning? How do you give that value? And how do you honor that burning desire inside of you with the actions to propel you forward to making it become a reality? Yeah, I got a great question, which says the child fills it out first and then guide or start with guiding. Great question. I think it's a great opportunity where I think you need to do a little bit level of giving an overview. Hey, we're going to look at, hey, what's important to you? What would you really like to accomplish or achieve? I think the question starts from there. And I truly think it's a walk by tool. It's a great coaching tool. It's a very easy model to implement. It's a walk along. Or if they say, hey, what? I'm old enough. I got this. Let them go, because the best thing they can do is learn how to do this by themselves and for themselves, because this isn't just a professional skill. This is a life skill. And so the sooner that younger folks can figure that out, the sooner that they can realize that this is a formula of success in their life. And again, defining success and what's meaningful to them, the more powerful this model becomes. All right, any other last minute Q&A questions? How often should a company do this for employees? Oh, honestly, that is a phenomenal question. I think this is one of those where organizations have their strategic and their business plans, and they try to do everything all at once. Well, reality is you cannot get everything done. You can't do all, be all, for all. So I believe, my humble opinion from my background is, you focus on quarterly strategic initiatives. Pick no more than one per quarter, so for the year. And so for that first quarter, at the beginning, actually you would do it in the fourth quarter of the previous year and say, hey, what do we want to accomplish or achieve in the fourth, and what is the most important thing that we advance or do strategically in our business, with our team, for our customers, internally and externally, in the first quarter of next year. So have a planning session. And you can do that as a brainstorming session and really, hey, what's the top 5 things that matter most? And then we can rank those, and wherever there's synergy across that team. Right, there's another tool that I use in my business. It's called an affinity diagram that can do some of that brainstorming and some of that strategic actual work. If you'd like to know more, let me know. But it's a great way to buy of which to get everybody on the same page, and then have them prioritize, okay, what's first quarter? Because first quarter can impact what we can do in the second quarter. But I think that's a great way to look at and then measure success, because when people are successful and goals are achieved and strategic initiatives, then you have a great opportunity to throw that up the flagpole, down throughout the organization, and hopefully across the organization, because your employees, your team members, and your customers are going to benefit from the clarity and the focus and the purpose, because you still have to manage the day-to-day. So make one strategic priority, one of what the top 4, we'll use the top 4. Hey, what are the top 4 things that we need to really truly advance, focus, polish, improve upon in the next year? And then let that be Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 strategic initiatives. Take it through the G-Wave, and I'm confident, I almost would guarantee, you'll see results and outcomes, and people will be glad that they did that. And then it becomes a part of behavior. It becomes a behavior. Is there a time frame that is too far out for the G-Wave? Another phenomenal question in the chat. I'm going to thank Nicole for that one. You know, I think the time element is relative to the change or the outcome that is desired. Right? The classic statement about change is only necessitated when the pain of remaining the same becomes too great, or if whatever is driving the desire for that goal the time frame will be allocated accordingly based upon the need for whatever that change, that outcome, that desired result is. Is it a stair step? I got to do A before I do B. So what's the time frame that A has to happen in that goal or accomplishment before I can advance to B? So there's not a one shoe fits all. And so if that's something you need a coach, you want someone to connect with, you want someone to be able to talk through, my contact information is going to come up here shortly. Happy to connect, happy to share, because that's part of the process. A lot of times people don't know where to start or how to get going. And when it comes to that E of the G wave of engaged support, you got Coach Ron in the house, here in the Hizzo, happy to help and be a part of that process, because sometimes it does have a significant impact to have the right people challenging you to help you. What's the time, when to start, how to start? Have I thought about things? Because a lot of times we're so close to our own goals and desired outcomes that it takes someone from the outside to help us see what we're doing well and where we may have areas that we haven't thought of. So great questions. Great dialogue, great Q&A here to wrap things up at the end. I'm extremely thankful for that. One last round. Any other questions or burning issues that are out there? All right, what I'm going to do here real quick, just want to put a little plug. This is the first session of 4 that's coming out. And what we're doing in this process is we're going to be working on this summer of insights, right? We're going to do a lot of reflection, connecting, take some courage, right? The next session is going to be on June 24th. It's going to be dialing in your compass. This is going to be a specific session directly related to how do you maximize your insights discovery profile for helping you advance and go forward and grow in areas that you want to go and grow. The third session, so the second one, June 24th, the third one on July 8th, we're going to dive in directly into communicating with clarity. How can you use what you know about the insights, color energies, your profile? There's also communication tips in your profile that we'll discuss, but it all comes down to communication with clarity and effectiveness in whatever you do and how you do it. And then lastly, we're going to talk about, okay, how do we, when we get in situations and circumstances in the fourth session on July 22nd, how do we make sure that we're adapting and connecting to produce effective outcomes, but with others? So a part of this is big about self. Huge part of this is going to be big about how do we communicate, what do we do? And then we're going to close out the summer of learning and the summer of insights with that last session on July 22nd about adapting and connecting, right? So one of the things that we're going to be able to do, I will push these out. The links are actually available on the website. So I'm putting the website in the chat. You can go out to mtran.com, click on the events tab, scroll down, and you will see registration information for all of those sessions that can be found on the website at motivationaltransitions.com or short abbreviated mtran.com, and click on the events page. Thank you for asking in the chat. Greatly appreciated with that support. And then lastly, I'll just throw out, because the next session is going to talk specifically about your insights discovery profile. If you don't have a PDF version of that available, or it's been a while, or you don't know where your profile is, so that you can use that to engage and share, do me a favor, just send me an email. I will gladly look up and find your insights discovery profile to you. Now, the gift is, I'll also send it to you in a digital format, because we now have the ability, brand new, hot off the presses, I can send a digital version that you can have access to as well. So just need to have the request, let me know where to send it to. Gladly will find that profile for you so you have it as a tool into the next session of Summer of Insights and the Lunch and Learn series that we're putting together on the journey of personal effectiveness. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you for your presence and your participation today. I shared my contact information will be up there. Again, there's the website. Click on events, more information for the future events and ways that I can help you and or your business. This is Ron Klinger with the first summer series edition of the Summer of Insights. Appreciate your time, your energy, and your support. And until next time, see ya.